Do you feel confused, conflicted, overwhelmed by what you are supposed to eat for ultimate health and longevity? I know it's very confusing, especially if you spend any amount of time researching, because there's people all over the place that say very conflicting things. So what is it that makes us the healthiest? Right now, in the last several years, there's been a massive focus on protein, like as though that's the magic elixir. Some people even say, center your diet around protein and the rest will take care of itself. But I'm going to suggest that that is actually not good advice for longevity or health. But here's what is. If we actually center our diet around fiber and micronutrients, then that really is, and proven by research, the best way to eat for health and longevity. So let's look at that really quickly, how to make this practical. You don't need more data. I think that what people need are practicalities. How to actually do this, what does it mean? So fiber comes from plants, not animals. There's many different types of fiber. But one of the things we have to make sure that we have literally flowing in our gut virtually all the time, at all times, is soluble fiber. Soluble fiber comes primarily from legumes and psyllium husks. Those two sources are the highest concentration of soluble fiber in the plant kingdom, but it's in all kinds of stuff. Soluble fiber is super, super important, and here's a quick breakdown. The liver is our biggest detoxifying organ in the body, and as we know, it excretes the waste that it processes into our digestive tract. Because those toxins are fat soluble, then they're bound to bile acids that the liver excretes. The only thing that can grab those and pull them out into the toilet is soluble fiber. The thing is that if we don't have soluble fiber in our gut, literally circulating at all times, then up to 95% of those fat soluble toxins will be reabsorbed into the body, because the liver wants to recycle bile if it can, because it's an expensive metabolic process to create bile. So the bottom line is, if we do not have soluble fiber available literally at all times in our gut, those toxins will be reabsorbed. Another key thing about that is, besides just toxins that we know about, the liver also excretes excess hormones. That's a huge deal, especially when it comes to creating better brain-body balance. Because hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, when they get reabsorbed, they make us super amped up, over adrenalized. Because hormones don't get broken down, they don't get metabolized, they don't get used and broken down and excreted. They are always working as long as they're circulating in the blood. The liver tries to excrete them when we don't need them, but if they get reabsorbed, we get super over adrenalized. So if somebody has a lot of stress and they're reabsorbing their adrenaline from the gut, then we're getting super adrenalized, even beyond the stress we feel. That causes that just wreaks havoc in the body, in the brain. So the other important thing about soluble fiber is it feeds the good bacteria in our colon, the large intestine, and then they will produce something called butyric acid, which is short chain fatty acids, which actually heal leaky gut. So the key thing is, just remember, soluble fiber in every meal. And if you have a lot of stress, a lot of circulating adrenaline, other hormone imbalances like insulin resistance or excess estrogen, when people are going through perimenopause, for example, then we need to be having that soluble fiber like literally coming in constantly. when someone's super stressed out and they're either in a healing mode, a gut healing mode, then they could eat a few beans every 20 minutes. But to make it really easy, you can get a 24-ounce cup with a straw and a lid of water and put a big heaping teaspoon or up to a tablespoon of psyllium husk in there. Mix it in and just sip on that throughout the day. Wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, take a few sips. This way, the soluble fiber is always circulating, grabbing those toxins so they can come out, and always providing the raw materials that our good bacteria need to do their job of healing the gut and producing better brain-body balance through gut-brain connection. So, focusing on fiber and micronutrients, which are antioxidants, phytonutrients, other stuff we get from plants and fruits and vegetables, those things are very important. If those become the backbone of our diet, then everything else takes care of itself. We do need adequate protein. That's available in plants, but it's also available in animal foods, but certain animal foods are not healthy for us. It's important for a health standpoint, inflammation standpoint, people avoid saturated fat, which is your red meats. And so you do want to eat lower saturated fat meats, and not that much. You don't really need as much protein as everybody's saying. That's another conversation. But the point is, fiber, micronutrients, make those the backbone of your diet, and you'll absolutely be contributing to longevity and healing. Okay, so real quick, what I do to do that is I eat what I'm calling now the beans and greens diet. That's legumes and green vegetables, which are the highest in antioxidants and minerals and other phytonutrients, at every meal, in some form or another. And I also do sip on the psyllium throughout the day and in the night when I wake up, because I do have a lot of stress that I'm healing from. Healing adrenal fatigue, gut dysbiosis and stuff. So anyway, beans and greens, fiber, micronutrients, that's the answer to a truly health promoting, longevity promoting diet. Thanks.